Good morning, everybody, on this fine February Tuesday here in Kentucky, in which we are certainly having good weather to enjoy right now. But who knows, as we all know here in Kentucky, how that may change at any point. But certainly had some good weather and expect a few days of really nice warm weather over the next couple of days. Mike Lettingham here. Obviously, I'm not David Couch. David got tied up, so we're calling an audible. He is at a conference with other state leaders. I believe he's in D.C. Quite honestly, I didn't follow exactly where he went, but I know he's out of town, and was going to try to join today, but indicated he's pretty tied up, and it's going to be difficult for him to do that. So, again, we called an audible. So the rest of the team will lead our conversation today on the topics that David sent an agenda out on, and again, I'm joined with several other members of our KDE OET leadership team, of which will all chime in and join in different topics that we're going to cover today. I do want to point out that we've got the Go Soapbox up and got some questions out there. So we ask that everybody jump on there and try to respond to those questions, as well as if you've got any items that you just want to present as things that you've got questions about or whatnot, you should be able to do that on there. And then I also do want to go ahead and identify that at the end of following our agenda of topics we want to cover and things you all bring up, we will have a second half of the webcast, which will be a closed session for continuing discussions on our Lightspeed interaction and the work we've got going on with the services associated to Lightspeed. So that'll be a second half of the agenda. Phil, you're waving your hand, or you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
Just, we will have Go Soapbox up for that also, but it will be a different link that will be. I think Megan's going to put that in the chat. So,
okay,
you're looking for that.
Yep. So we'll do that as well. All right. So I think we'll again. I was complete. I did not script rehearse or anything leading the meeting this morning. So we're going to pretty much follow the agenda. We will we'll divert from that as much or as we need to and so forth. But we're going to get started that way. And that's with Marty. I think Marty, you and Marianne Rankin are going to speak about KISTI and what we got coming up here right shortly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, February brings in the excitement for the KISTI March conference. And so we reached out to Marianne and wanted to ask Marianne to share some of the excitement about the KISTI Spring Conference coming up. It is an awesome time for us, and we have such an awesome collaboration with KISTI and the KISTI leadership team, and we want to continue that as we move forward. It's just a great thing that we have in Kentucky that not every state has, and we want to continue to celebrate that. So Marianne, take us through. I know I've kind of seen behind the scenes of some of the programming, and I'm super excited about this year. But take us through from the KISTI leadership team. Thank you for being on, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to share some things about KISTI 2023. We're super excited as a board and can't wait to see all of the 1,600 plus that have already registered in about 3 weeks. And so it'll be an awesome time of learning together. I don't know if you've seen the session matrix, but it's very difficult to pick sessions because there are so many really good ones. And if you're like me, you have 2 or 3 picked out for every time and you're trying to decide how you're going to get there. So lots of our own educators, our own leaders, and our own vendors presenting this year, and we're super excited about that. We also have 3 really good featured speakers that we're really looking forward to hearing from, with Holly Clark. She is so good at the pedagogy and the why behind EdTech, and she's going to have a couple of chat GPT sessions that she's just rolling out. So we're excited to hear those. Eric Kurtz is very entertaining presenter and really good at all those tips and tricks with those resources and tools that we're using. So I know folks will have some takeaways from him. And then on the technical side, we have Stephen Hernandez, who is going to talk all things security, which is such a hot topic and important thing for us right now. and he's so good at sharing that topic, which can be hard to share in a fun way, but he does such a good job of that. So looking forward to hearing him as well. Our vendor hall is sold out, so we have a waiting list. So lots of vendors there ready to talk to you about their product, ready to help you spend your money. So be sure and stop in the vendor hall. We will have our vendor hall grand opening will be Wednesday at 12:30. We'll have food and lots of really good prizes to give away at that time. And then we'll have another dedicated vendor hall time on Thursday. And a little change for us this year is we'll have food and prizes again on Thursday. So be sure to be in the vendor hall for especially those two times for that food and prizes. We are so appreciative of the vendors that are really such good partners with KISTI, not only in the vendor hall to share their items with you, but they have donated great prizes. Our outreach vendor partners for our outreach grants are really stepped up to the plate, and so we could not be more appreciative of them and their partnership with KISTI as well. So if you haven't downloaded the app yet, we have the app available in the iOS and Google Play stores, so you can be building your schedule, and we're ready to go.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Now tell us the theme for the event, and actually for the whole year, and all the work that KISTI's doing. And I'll just say, you mentioned the outreach work, and I know that those get awarded and announced on a Friday, right?
Right. So they will. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to pass to you to talk us through the theme, why that theme's important. I love it. It matches exactly what we're doing, and it definitely ties into the outreach work.
Yeah, so outreach grants, we will award those Friday at our closing session. And actually, our KISTI outreach committee will have a session at KISTI. So if you're thinking about applying for a grant or really not sure what that process looks like or how things are scored and those kinds of things, be sure and look up that session, because our outreach committee will really be able to help you along with how to submit a grant and what that looks like. And in addition to that, last year's winners will be presenting, so you can attend those sessions and get a good feel for the types of projects that are being funded, what their process look like, and those kinds of things. So our theme for this year is Adventure Awaits, because EdTech is always an adventure, right? Not one day is the same as the next, and we're looking forward to a lot of adventures and learning.
Well, thank you so much again for being with us this morning, and we look forward to. I know things start to pick up really quickly as we get towards March. I love to think about KISTI as a launch event for a lot of awesome collaboration, a lot of awesome work every single year. It never fails. That KISTI is such a great launch event for Kentucky in education technology and learning and technologies that matter. So thank you so much for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you and seeing the KISTI leadership team, but more especially the 1,600 plus. I love that. That's awesome.
Yep.
So,
yep. Thanks so much.
Thanks to both of you all, Marty and Marianne. As always, reiterating what Marty said, the KISTI event is always a great event. It's a great opportunity, very well put together, very well led, and very worthwhile for everybody to be able to participate and learn during that and share and catch up with each other. So it's a great opportunity, and I know we look forward to it. All of our team members look forward to it, and I certainly feel that all the districts look forward to that as well. And we'll here in a minute we'll talk about an event that occurs and coincides with the KISTI event, which is the CIO Summit. And we'll hit on that here in a minute. I'll go ahead and I'll kind of still work down through the agenda in the order we've got things in. But here in a minute we're going to talk about something we're doing again in coordination with the KISTI being the CIO Summit. But I am going to go next to the STLP Student Engineer Ambassadors. Jeff, I'm assuming you're ready and prepared to share some great, exciting stuff going on there.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. Thanks, Mike and everybody. So I won't stick my face in the camera for too long, because we have with us today here in Frankfort at the Sauer Building, the STLP Engineer Ambassador Team. We've got a dozen students from around the state who are representing everything EdTech and sort of the pinnacle of our student technology leadership program. I won't have them go around and introduce themselves, but we've got Jessamine County, we've got Johnson County, we've got Eminence, we've got Bellevue, we've got, help me out, guys. Bath, Rowan, Pulaski, Scott.
So Jeff, I would have loved to have heard them say their name and where they were from if we got a mic that can pick them up. Because you're doing it anyway.
We do.
Let's do it. I'm in. Let's do it.
Just
Okay.
real quick, name and where you're from.
Absolutely. Here. We're gonna go on camera. I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. So my name is Tucker. I'm from Scott County. I go to Great Crossing High School. I'm a senior.
I'm Harrison Gilbert. I'm from Oldham County, but I go to Eminence Independent Schools.
Real loud.
I'm Mason Thompson. I'm from Pulaski County and I go to Pulaski County High School.
I'm TJ Southwick. I'm from Campbell County and I go to Bellevue High School.
I'm Cindy Dennis. I'm from Henry County and I go to Eminence.
I'm Haley Little. I'm from Floyd County and I go to Floyd Central.
I'm Grace Blackburn. I'm a junior at Johnson Central High School.
I'm Todd Prater. I'm from Floyd County and I go to Floyd Central High School.
I'm Colby Kahn. I go to Bath County High School. I'm a senior.
I'm Shannon Sizemore. I'm from Jessamine County. I go to West Jessamine High School.
Troy Daniels, senior, Fairview High School.
And I'm Nathan Jones, a senior at Brown County Senior High School.
Jeff Sobalski. So basically, guys, we're pumped. We get to have them here. This is something we've never done before, is invite them to Frankfurt to have some opportunities. They're going to have some time today to do some sort of leadership conversations with some folks here at OET. I know Chuck is going to share some of our big high-level initiatives with them and get some of that student voice, which is something that we have always had access to. And now we're kind of finalizing opportunities to take advantage of it with these awesome young folks. And we are just pumped to have them here in Frankfurt. So if you're here in the building, if you're at Frankfurt, anybody that's from OET, we are in room 416. Come by, say hey. For the rest of us, we're just excited to have them here. Marianne, it was great to have Marianne on because we also will see these folks again take charge at the KISTI conference where they'll be providing tech support along with, and Jim Seward would hate for, I'm not going to put the camera on him, but Jim Seward from Bellevue Independent leads this effort for us. He's sort of our mentor for the STLP engineers. Ambassadors, particularly at KISTI. So we're looking forward to that. And then we'll also see them again in April 19th at Rupp Arena. They'll be the backbone for how we pull off the state championship. They'll be the ones really kind of running the show behind the scenes. So they don't really know all that stuff. We're just kind of like throwing it in their lap today and kind of shock therapy a little bit. But we're just pumped to be here and they're excited to have this opportunity. A lot of them work with the tech departments in their districts. Many of them are actually employed as members of the tech department. So we're seeing the leadership capabilities, the creative capabilities, as well as the technical capabilities come through in these folks. And we're just really lucky to have them represent STLP and represent our state. So thanks for giving us a little bit of time. We're just kind of here because they want to learn from you all and they want to kind of experience the greatness that is the statewide webcast for EdTech leaders. And thanks for giving us a couple minutes, Mike.
Hey, real quick, if I can jump in. So Jeff, I wanted to throw a couple things at you real quick. And last year at our STLP state championship, this is the group, this is the room of leaders that stepped up really quickly to lead our Kentucky Board of Education members, other like legislative members. We had superintendents that this group of leaders took all around the state championship and not only expressed why learning with technologies are important, but very, very well talked through some of the competitions and why students are able to demonstrate using technologies for learning in ways that are super important. So there are superpowers in this room. And I wanted to quickly just throw this out there. This is not rehearsed, and I see some smiles because some of you are already thinking about this. If we can real quick, just have a few students share in terms of using technologies for good, using technologies to be empowered, what are just a couple quick superpowers that you have that really, I think, put you in this room of leaders?
Yeah.
Is this a general question or just like?
Just and so what he's picking up on is, if you could think about what are the superpowers that you are bringing to the table on top of everything else, your technology superpowers that are really going to impact our districts and our STLP program. And feel free, anybody can chime in, any of our folks that we've talked about.
Well, I'm Nathan Jones again. One thing for me is that, technology has been involved in my life ever since like I was a toddler. So, and one thing I've realized is the importance of teaching others how to use said technology and how to troubleshoot and how to teach them to troubleshoot themselves. So not only is like our talent of being able to access technology and be able to use it, but also teach others to have that talent and that skill set as well.
So that's empowerment right there. Someone else, one of our ladies in the room, share a superpower that you have.
Go up this way a little bit.
This way a little bit?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean? Bring your voice.
It's good. We can hear.
all
All right, you can hear, okay?
This is really awkward.
It's fine.
All right.
You're good.
So I always say my big one is like research, because it's all about what resources we have available for people so that they can learn how to use the technology. Yeah.
Awesome.
Love that.
Good deal.
I mean, we're in good
Great. Go
We're in
ahead. Go
good
ahead.
hands, guys. We're in really good hands. I think that
Yeah.
we got some good stuff going on, and it's going to be great. I'm excited. There's a reason why, we've always talked about the STLP engineers, and the reason why we are adjusting that to be STLP engineer ambassadors is because they truly are the ambassadors for the student voice for education technology across the state of Kentucky. So we're just really pumped to have them here, and thank you all.
Great stuff you all are doing. I tell you, I always say anytime we're talking about STLP, it's the thing that I get to brag about whenever I get the opportunity to go outside the state of Kentucky and meet with folks from other states. And I always brag on what we're doing with the STLP program and how it reaches you guys and your counterparts, in your teams at your local schools and districts. And we certainly do appreciate you all doing what you're doing. And very much so. This right here is a team, future Kentucky leaders, future national leaders, future world leaders right here. I say we give this group right here a round of applause of being who they are, doing what they're doing. Y'all are awesome, and we certainly recognize that and wish you well. And keep Jeff in line. Let me say that can be a task there that you got as well.
keep Jim in line as well. Thank you, Jim, for your leadership, by the way.
All right. Thank you, guys, and we will shift forward and move forward to the next topic. And this is going to be this is one I know David he will want to circle back to this some directly himself whenever he's able to be back on a webcast or during KISTI, just during different venues. We will talk about the top 5 from feedback, the feedback from our end of year feedback, the top 5 of the things we did well throughout the past year, the things that we didn't do so well during the past year, and then those things that we need to work on in the upcoming year. This group's probably going to want who's managing who we're spotlighting here, because this group's probably not going to want to sit here and have this camera continuing to be on them. So anyway, like I said, David will want to circle back to this and speak to this. I know some directly himself. However, we wanted to go ahead and share some out today, and this I'm pretty much going to do this as an all call out to our leadership team of pointing out some items that we've discussed, that we recognized and we captured from the feedback from the districts, and that we want to get on the table. And again, this will be an ongoing conversation that we'll have as far as continuing to look at this, and it definitely impacts the next topic we'll have here in a moment of the topics that we're looking at for the CIO Summit. So I'm opening this up to our OET team. Chuck, I see you're raising your hand, so you go ahead and get started.
Well, and obviously, every member of our leadership team guys here at the Office of Education Technology, we spend a lot of time diving into everything that's said, everything that's posted, every piece of constructive criticism, every pat on the back, and we take all that just super seriously, especially the things we don't do well and the goals that we plot for the following year. So Mike, I'm gonna start out with I'm gonna pull one big topic from all three areas and just throw out there, and then obviously let other members of our leadership team chime in. So, as I reviewed the top 5 this year and the things that we did well, a general category of the emphasis and activity for the last year around security. Okay. A lot of the coaching that went on. Obviously, we had some initiatives that were focused around identity, okay, that received, some great feedback. And I would be remiss if I also didn't point out that, one of the things that we really try and emphasize and build upon is that relationship we have with school districts. And obviously, the people that, we put in front of you as our district customers, either directly or indirectly, okay, you continue to see value in, and that's something we want to make sure that we emphasize. In the category of not well, I think it's pretty evident, all right, that, we've got a group of people being, under Phil Coleman's, all right, direction that, we've heard loud and clear now for the second year in a row about some of the frustration and opportunities for improvement with Lightspeed. And obviously, I know Phil's going to talk to that later, okay, as we have another closed session, but that is something that we've heard loud and clear, and obviously we're doing and working very closely with you as our school districts and Lightspeed to, shall we say, right the ship. And really, last but not least, when I look at goals, something that we've been watching for a couple of years, and it comes up again this year, which tells us that we're on the mark and we're on track, is anything and everything associated with our connected user experience, okay, in terms of ensuring that folks have a really efficient and secure manner by which they can access the stuff that they need. So, that's absolutely something we've got on the radar. And Mike, to your point, a lot of this is going to drive another conversation we're going to have here in a little bit around our CIO Summit. So I will hand the baton off to anybody else that would like to grab it.
Chuck, this is Bob, and I want to go ahead and just dovetail in a couple of those with a couple of your comments. And, when it comes to security, and I'm grouping a couple of things in with just security, like multi-factor authentication, security baseline project, and Q's itself, all three of those things, when I look at those together and the top 5 feedback on things that were done well, those took up 25% of the comments just on their own. And that's a huge number out of like 500 or out of however many blocks there were. 25% of them were in that things that were done well. And I wanted to call out a few of the things that were specifically mentioned, because I think these are things that not only were done well in these projects, they were things that probably people would appreciate in any project that impacts them. One of the things that was mentioned so often was that the weekly and monthly baseline meetings were exceedingly helpful for folks. And that communication is something that we've always tried to do. And I think on that project, it went really, really well. And even the one-on-ones for the folks that did those, again, that was apparently very impactful. And I think that's probably something that we kind of already knew, but it was done super well during the security baseline effort. The support documents were greatly appreciated. And we had a lot of folks, both KDE and district and Microsoft, looking over all those documents, trying to refine them to get them to where they were the most helpful. And so I think that's another kind of heads up. And then lastly, having Microsoft directly involved was super appreciated. And so having that vendor with the expertise, actually bringing people to the table and helping folks move in the direction that we needed to take, I think was a huge key factor in the success of that effort. And so, again, I want to go back and just reiterate, 25% of the comments were for a security related thing. And what that tells us is we probably need to continue to focus in that direction. And while I have no desire to have a statewide project every year for security, it's one of those things we have to continue to look at and make sure we're headed in the right direction. And the feedback we get from the districts on that really helps fine tune our direction, not just in security, but that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to say, helps fine tune our direction in security. So I'm going to be quiet now and hand the talking stick to whoever else has it. Phil, looks like your hand is up.
Good handoff.
It is good. Thanks, Bob. One of the things that we did well that was noted was the comments that districts made about our service desk, and the positive comments, and those were we take those and we strip out your names and we make them anonymous, and we give those to our help desk and to our people that run our services, just to let them know that they're doing a good job, and they always appreciate that. They always appreciate your comments. But listen, always take opportunity to call our service desk, because every time you call, that's an opportunity for us to get better. And so continue to call us, continue to depend on us, and anytime you have something good to say, send it to us. And even when you have something bad to say, send it to us, because I think that's the way we as a leadership team get better also. So thank you for that.
Marty?
Yeah, thank you. So obviously some of the big topics were already hit, and I want to point out a couple other areas that were mentioned quite a bit, that we pulled out, but also tag in that, thankfully in our KETS master plan, and a quick shout out to our areas of emphasis, and these are areas of things that we're doing well, but then also tagged as areas of improvement. And so almost all of these topics that had a lot of feedback written around and driven towards directly link to these areas of emphasis. And so that's work that we'll continue to do, especially if the big topic is around an area of improvement that we've already identified. And so we can continue to tag strategies on how to get better at that. And so this is extremely helpful. So a couple that I'll pull out that were mentioned quite a bit are training and learning around. So that's more technical training, more information, more onboarding for new folks was highlighted heavily. And so that's definitely an area for us to continue to wrap strategies around. One thing that was mentioned, kind of big topic that was mentioned in several areas, and actually in all three of the things we did well, the things that we didn't do well, and then some goals, is around funding and sustainability of funding and some of our big initiatives across the state. And that's local initiatives. So whether that's funding for staffing and personnel, whether that's our technician teams, our digital learning coach teams, the sustainment of that work, because it is going so well. And so directly linked to a target or a goal with something that's going well, so that we can keep doing it district by district and regionally. So building strategies around that, I think, is something that we'll focus on. And then, also tie into the people and strategies around retention of people, and retention of our people networks that have been developed. So I'll hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah, let's go to Dee Dee next.
Okay. In the data world and Infinite Campus world, we never get quite as much feedback in this, and which is not surprising to us at all. But I'm going to kind of pick up on what Marty said in an area that we did hear quite a bit of feedback on, and that was around the fact that we were able to use ESSER funds to be able to fund some things the districts might have otherwise funded or might have otherwise done without. And especially around online registration. We got a lot of really good feedback on that, and the fact that the value that had provided. Just as a reminder, the KDE support for that is planned to end in September of 2024 with the funding. We're going to try to find some additional funding to carry that through the 24-25 school year. But, that is unfortunate that, rulings that we got from Department of Education and the auditors is that it does end with the end of that grant. So the value that's been provided and the fact that we were able to negotiate a half price for the state to be able to take advantage of that and save, time and provide those services to their communities and parents has been great. We appreciate the feedback we got on that. We continue to work on that and appreciate the kind remarks back about the staff that are able to assist you and your folks and the need for us to continue that work. So appreciate those kind of feedback. Mike, Jack Smith had his hand up for quite a while. So we want to
I'm sorry.
head over to him. It's hard to see when you get down to the other participants. But,
That's a mistake. That's a
it was
mistake.
a
I'm
mistake?
sorry. That's a
Okay,
mistake.
all right.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to think we were ignoring you because we saw you out there. There just hadn't been a really good cut over.
Yeah, thanks, Dee Dee, for catching that, though, so we can make sure that we do that. So others from our team that have any comments on this, and as I mentioned, I know that David will want to circle back to some of these and point out some items that I know he's recognized, which will pretty much be in alignment with what we're saying here. But just from his perspective, I know he'll want to speak to this in different venues. He'll reference this and so forth. I'll go ahead while I give a moment for anybody else that's got some items they want to bring up. And one of the things I find interesting is the things that fall in all three categories. We have items. I can generally speak to finance information, the money side of it. We'll see comments about where we did some good things with the money and the finances that we had available to us, and then we'll have comments where we didn't do some things the way we maybe needed or should have around the finances. And a lot of that has to how we just manage and report on it and so forth. And then we'll always have things we need to be doing in the next year that are around the money side of things. So it's just interesting to me. And then, another area was our all of our standards, our work on standards, specifically product standards of what we need to be doing, how we need to be looking at what do we continue to have standards for, what do we need to think about that we may not need standards for, the voice services is one that comes out where there's a lot of folks with different opinions about maybe what we should have done differently when it comes to how we handle product standards around voice solutions, and we're continuing to look at that. And so that'll be an area that we do expect to provide some additional direction and guidance on right here in the very near future as we move forward. Any other comments that we want to share from any of our team around things that we observed? And then I guess I'll go ahead and ask right now, is there anything in the Go Soapbox that's been brought up as a discussion item that we want to make sure that we want to bring out now? I mean, obviously there could be something we're going to still speak to here in a little bit, but is there anything else that
Mike,
I want to bring up?
We're clear on Go Soapbox right now.
Okay.
We are getting some good response and feedback to the poll questions that we have. Up to 40 responses on a few of them. So, yep.
We'll get to those here in a minute. Yep. Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, again, top 5 feedback, that's going to be an ongoing conversation. You're going to hear that from us. You're going to hear that in your group meetings with in your regions with your catch engineers and other field leaders, other field members that we have around that meet with you all regularly and have the small group meetings and so forth. So we'll continue to reference that. So now we want to get to the CIO summit that's coming up. We want to go ahead and get some ideas out there that we've got about what the topics may be. This is always a challenge for us because we've got so many things that we know are good conversations and things that we want to hear from the districts on and get feedback on. And keep in mind, we know that we do that a variety of ways. We know that we also get that through the small group meetings that happen in the regions and so forth. But the CIO Summit is certainly, I mean, I can tell you, and I know David says this all the time as well, it's a unique kind of situation we have to be able to bring folks together and be able to have conversations all in a room with the leaders from all of our districts. That's a very unique thing compared to other states, and other states are very envious of the relationships that we have and the way we're able to work together. So that's a really cool thing, and we certainly want to make sure it's a good experience and something that is meaningful. So I think, Chuck, you indicated that you
Yeah.
were going to start this off here and throw some things out. And I know, Lisa, you've been involved and will obviously be involved in continuing to help coordinate this activity. So you may chime in with some things you want to clarify as part of this conversation, and others to join in as needed. Go ahead, Chuck.
Mike, thank you for that. And, you're absolutely right. I mean, something we do take a lot of pride in is the opportunity. And we're the only state in the country. I know y'all hear us say that all the time, but we're the only state in the country that brings the community together. Okay. And when I say the community, I'm talking about the partnership we've got at the program level. Okay. And at the local level between our EdTech leaders and our office. And really and truly, there's two purposes that we really, really focus on trying to accommodate as we bring that community together. Number one, there's an opportunity for us at the program level to learn. Okay. It's your feedback. All right. It's challenging issues, challenging opportunities we're faced with that we know we need to understand from your perspective. All right. How best to position those. But probably more importantly, it's an opportunity for you to learn from each other. Okay. What we continue to hear is that event, more than anything else, is just a great opportunity for you to come together with your peers. All right. And help each other, learn from each other, coach each other up. So we want to make sure as we structure our topics that we provide a good balance of that. So, right now this year, understand that, as Mike's already mentioned a couple of times, the top 5 is primarily what drives the summit topics. Okay. So that's where, based on the previous conversation, we really dig in and go, okay, we've got some things we need to do at the state level. We've got some things we need to address. We need feedback on those. Okay. Because the summit's never intended to be an informational session. All right. It's really targeted to be collaborative and to be engaging. So, 2 of the topics we're going to have this year, we're going to have 3. 2 of the topics we're going to be looking directly for your feedback on. Okay. And, at a high level, we've got some funding challenges and opportunities moving forward. Okay. As we've got federal funds that are starting to dry up, as we've got a legislative session that we're moving toward in 24. How do we maximize that? What do we position ourselves for? We're going to have some conversation and questions around that. I know I sound like a broken record. I keep talking about the connected user experience, but obviously we're going to have a topic around the people side of the connected user experience, and not just from an end user perspective, the back office of all the players, all right, that are going to have to play together to make sure we've got this really efficient, all right, opportunity for identity and access. And then the last thing we're going to do, and we're going to step way outside the box this year, all right, and we're going to present an opportunity for you to learn from each other, and we're going to have something called a lightning round. All right. And the lightning round is going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. And it's just going to be one of these opportunities for us real quick. All right. To throw a topic out in front of you, have you talk about it at a table for 5 minutes, and then let's do a report out as to what we're learning. And all of these topics we're going to have in the lightning round are things we pulled directly from the top 5. But really, it's not our opportunity to learn. It's your opportunity to hear what your peers are doing to address maybe some challenges that only can be dealt with at the local level. So Mike, at a high level, that's kind of what we're doing this year with the summit. So Lisa, obviously you and Lorena and the Kisti folks are neck deep, okay, in logistical planning. So, I'm going to throw it over to you for some interesting and important details about that.
I don't know how exciting it is. It's just the behind the scenes work is ongoing. We're working on the timed agenda. That's always important. There is going to be a Kisti sponsored lunch during the event, as there was last year. So the initial numbers have gone in. I think we had just a few districts who had not put in their registration, and so, behind the scenes, we'll be doing that timed agenda. We'll be working on introductions to those topics to make everything run really smoothly that day. Right now, it is set for 10:30 on Wednesday, March the 15th. And registration closed on February 15th, but if you did not get a chance to register and you have since found out that you can attend, it's not too late. Just get with your KETS engineer and we can make that happen. At the moment, we have between 20 to 21 tables, and we'll be using a similar model that we've used in the past about having a facilitator at each table to lead and drive that discussion and capture your feedback. And so we're looking forward to it. Thanks, Mike.
So real quick, Lisa, I just wanted to give you a quick high five. The work that goes into planning it is awesome, and you do an awesome job with it. One thing that I did want to mention, if it's because I know that we'll have around 20 or so new EdTech leaders and CIOs this year. And so what Lisa tries to do, working with our team and working with the KISTI team, is tries to do an awesome job of getting folks at a table that normally wouldn't work together or be shoulder partners. And so there'll be people from every region at a single table. And so you're going to meet new folks that you've probably never been in a regional leadership meeting with before. And so that's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to learn from each other. She also makes sure that we get large districts with medium districts and small districts so that we can hear different perspectives, and our facilitators will capture that. I do want to mention also one final thing. New this year, we are also having a digital learning coach summit. And that is going on from 9:30 to 12:30. So our CIOs and EdTech leaders, please be aware of that. That's also that morning, across the way a little bit. They're at KISTI, and that'll be exciting for Laura Raganos, who will be leading those efforts with some additional help. And that's exciting as well, following that same model.
So obviously using the words of our younger generation, like Marty Park, this is a super awesome event, and I'm psyched about it coming up. I do genuinely look at it that way. I try to keep up with the word. I've got a young son too. It's in college, so I try to keep up with the buzzwords that are the best ones to use nowadays. But anyway, it is, and I feel like I always did that. But I do get reminded that I'm no longer in that generation. But anyway, it is exciting. It's exciting times. It's a great opportunity. The summits that we have, the breakout things that we do in relationship to the overall KISTI effort and event, and so we do very much to look forward to that, and I think all the districts do as well. So certainly engage, participate, and that's the way you make things happen, is to be a part of it and make sure that you speak up and share what's going on, good, bad, however it needs to be viewed. So let's, I think, Marty, you're leading this next topic. I hope you are. If you're not, I don't know who is, regarding our school classifications, online, virtual, remote learning. I think you've got some things to share there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mike. This is just a quick informational item, and hopefully more discussion. We do have a Go Soapbox question regarding this topic, but again, just a quick informational item. We do have a new school classification, and it's an A8. If this is the first time you're hearing that makes total sense. This is just now coming out and being released. Dee Dee's team, working all across the agency, did an awesome job of getting that new school classification in. Now, this is for full-time online, virtual, and remote learning programs. And so it makes complete sense that if you haven't heard of this new school classification yet, but also if you're wondering if you do have programs that would fit as that new classification, and keep in mind that in the past, we have a large group of programs that you have in your districts that are generally set up as a full-time online, virtual, and remote program, but previously, the only option you had was to list it, or one of the only options was to list it as an A5, an alternative program. Now, as we move forward, we're doing a lot of work to clean up the online, virtual, and remote space. And so a lot of work's going into that. Ben Maynard on our team is leading that work for us. And so this is a new school classification that you would want to investigate and see if it's a good fit for your existing program. Right now, we know that there are no less than 70 or so programs that may be interested in pushing towards this new school classification. We want to work with you, Ben, and our team will work to try to figure out if that's a good fit. We will be releasing a toolkit or program guide for all of the new work that's going towards not just the funding mechanics of virtual programs, but also the structural work for high quality online virtual and remote learning programs. And so this school classification is just one area that we want to move towards to help clean some of the work up. There is an incentive to move towards that, especially if you have a program that's not really an alternative, by definition, alternative program, but you had to list it as an alternative program because that's all there was at the time. Then you'll want to investigate this and move your programs towards that. So, Mike, the Go Soapbox question. I wanted to see.
Yeah, go ahead, pull that up. Yep.
Let's pull that up real quick, and just make sure. Let's make sure we have this real quick. So 38 responses, not bad at all. Would love to see more responses in here, especially because we have more districts with these kind of programs, these online virtual and remote programs. But 29% so far, most likely it's an easy fit, makes sense. And I would say unlikely, we probably should have added, I probably should have added an additional answer to this question. Unlikely, the 21 or 55% that responded here, we probably want to dig in a little bit more and make sure that we understand that and get that toolkit out, that program guide, and that we also have an FAQ that we will be working towards publishing and releasing here within weeks, hopefully even before KISTI. So, okay, thank you, Mike.
Yep, so we'll certainly take opportunity to gain more feedback on that and insight into what we can anticipate is going on. So we're going to shift into just some other items that we've got here that we didn't necessarily have called out on the agenda, and we'll kind of, I'm going to mention a thing or two here, and then we'll kind of go around the horn with some things I know some other folks go that they want to mention, and I know we've got some other Go Soapbox questions that a couple of you all will reference whenever you speak to just some other things here real quickly. I real quickly want to mention David sent a message out last week. David Couch sent a message out last week that essentially identified and announced that, over the last several months, we've been working on a next generation K through 12 internet RFP to establish a new contract to carry us forward for the next 10 years for our internet and related services on behalf of all K through 12 schools. That award did occur over the last couple of weeks to Education Networks of America. And really all I'm going to say about it right now is that we've got some very intensive initial work to do and planning on that, that to get things, kind of organized as far as how we'll move forward with a rollout and implementation of that, with the relationship between Kentucky K through 12 and ENA. ENA's what they go by, or at least that's the way I understand. Most people refer to them as ENA, Education Networks of America. And we do plan on doing a specific webcast for districts on that within the next couple of weeks. Our goal is to do that before the KISTI conference, so it most likely will occur that week before the KISTI conference. And certainly we'll be sharing much more information and details about, the expectations of how that what we can anticipate and what the district should anticipate and so forth. So just look forward to that. Be patient as we kind of work on some initial things that we've got to get put together and identify, how we'll begin a lot of activity that will occur as part of that. E-rate, I just want to mention that real quick. Well, I'll mention two things. Offers, we will be working on the second offers here in the next short while, within the next month. For sure, no more than 2 months. So again, just want to mention that, certainly something that's on the action item and most everybody's looking for and anxious about that second offers as it comes forward. So you got money to work with, additional money to work with, I should say, because I know you all got other funds as well. But the E-rate program, obviously the deadline for applications is March 28th. I think I'm remembering that right. If not, somebody correct me. But anyways, it certainly is toward the end of March, and make sure you're, on top of and engaged on the things you need to be doing to maximize that E-rate program. We all depend very heavily on that. We do for the statewide services on behalf that impact all of our schools and districts. And then I know you all do at the individual school and district level as well. So I'm going to go around the horn here, and I'll start, Dee Dee, with you. How about that? Anything else you've got, or anything that you want to mention?
I've got some very quick updates, and then I'll show some the soapbox questions. So we do have just a quick update on the civil rights data collection, and it's a quick update because we don't know anymore. We still expect at this point that we're going to have a federal collection for 21-22 school year data, but it's been very slow to come out with any dates or anything like that. It's still, I think, based on the comment periods, it still had to go through OMB. We don't know the status beyond that, so that kind of gives you, there will be enough time to lead in to provide you information as that does come out. That impacts some of you more than others. But the other thing I just wanted to make sure you all were aware of is we have a new campus analytics suite. That is something that we did with ESSER money. It's called Insights. We expanded on the data available in the early warning system to provide anybody that uses Infinite Campus, and which goes a lot further than the other data visualization suite we have, because it takes their tool rights and carries those forward and allows them to access data specifically to their school, to their areas of need. So do help us encourage folks to become aware of that, to look into it. We did mid-year training when we had Infinite Campus come in and do a training on that. That is recorded and it's out there in the media portal. So please take a look at that. I encourage others to take a look at it. A lot of really good tools. Not every state has access to the Campus Analytics Suite. This is something we've been able to negotiate with Infinite Campus to get all districts access and to be able to give these new tools. And this will last longer. This will last beyond the ESSER funds. We're kind of paying up front to help develop it, to be able to give Kentucky districts access to it without it becoming a premium product, similar to what we did with the early warning system. And we still have access to that where other states and districts have to pay for that as a premium service. So help us promote that. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We do have a few questions, and I will share my screen and kind of give those updates as we do. We do have a question about, can you all see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
So we do have a question about routinely checking Infinite Campus to make sure only the right people have tool rights access. This is for people that leave as well as people that maybe change positions and don't need the same level of access they'd had previously. So there is a report out in campus, and it's called the Active User Accounts Report, and I'll put a link to that quick reference card into the chat so you'll have that. But that report can be used to help you kind of gauge or encourage your cases administrator to do that, just as another security check. These are the small things that can go undone if you're not careful. And, we're all looking for ways to check security, and this is just another way to do that. The next one is the parchment requests. Having the e-transcript link on your high school's website and also on your district website is a best practice. We encourage you to do that because we get questions here all the time. I don't know how to request a transcript, and we always refer them back to the schools and districts. So do try to help promote that use of that. That is a state standard that we're trying. We expect all high schools to be using the electronic transcript. We're going to be reaching out to some that we're finding aren't to try to promote that and try to find out why. It might just be new people don't know any better. So there'll be some outreach further on that. Let's see. School report card. There is a school report card links. Those are, it's regulatory. It's not just a KD ask for this. This is something legislature put into the law that every district and school has to have their school report card linked to their webpage. Now, if you're not careful and you include the year in it, every year you're going to have to update that link. So if you just cut off the year, it'll go to the most current year when you go to click that link. So do check and make sure that the websites are current with the 21-22 school report card reporting. Additional information is We are working with Google and Bright Bytes right now, as Google bought out Bright Bytes, to transition that contract. We will continue to work with them through this year and through a transition period into next year. But we will be working on a new RFP to be able to look for a new school report card vendor. So at some point, and not till 2025, but we're all going to have to update our links because there will be a brand new school report card. So those were my updates, Mike.
All right, good deal, Dee Dee. Thank you. Phil, have you got anything else? I know you've got the second half here that you'll be leading that conversation. But as far as, do you have anything else you want to make sure you mention?
No, Mike, thanks. We'll start with the Lightspeed team immediately following this one, and we will be shutting down the YouTube channel for that, so it'll just be Teams.
Yeah, we'll for sure let everybody know when we do that here in just a minute. Bob Hackworth.
Yes, I do have one thing I want to mention, and also I want to apologize if my headset is still buzzing. Apparently, I was buzzing to a certain extent.
Now.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I reseated it, and maybe that helped. So, real quick, and this goes back to the topic of security, as you might have guessed. So Colin Glover is Kentucky's representative from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA. And he gave me a heads up about a new report that agency has put together in a toolkit specifically aimed at K-12. And so it's in response to the kind of ever increasing cybersecurity threats that all of K-12 is seeing right now across the nation. It's full of recommendations. And like I said, it's got some pointers towards some free resources, and it's all aimed at reducing risk. Some of the recommendations that are in the toolkit we've already implemented across Kentucky. Some districts have implemented some of them. KD's implemented some of them, but it's a really good document for everyone to have in their possession and kind of help you kind of prioritize, if you will. And then also, and I'll be sending that out. I'll be sending out some links to that along with some other information either today or tomorrow, by the way. So also, there will be quite a few security-focused sessions at KISTI, and I want to encourage everyone to get out there and hit some of those, especially the Stephen Hernandez one that was mentioned earlier. He is always great. And there are also some district-leg sessions on security, and I definitely want to encourage folks to attend those because that always hits home for everyone here. Colin, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, he has presented in the past. I'm not sure if he's going to be presenting at this KISTI or not, but if he is, I encourage everyone to get to know him. He's a great guy and an excellent resource for Kentucky. And as always, I love seeing more and more folks presenting on the topic of security, and love seeing folks attending those sessions. Now, obviously, I wish we didn't have to do that. I wish everything was just super secure as it is. But I'm really excited that Kentucky has a lot of resources attending a conference like this and presenting at a conference like KISTI so that we can all get a little extra help. I think that's awesome. And then I'll be kind of floating around through all those security sessions, including the Q's session that Chuck's leading up. And I'll also have a session, I think, on Friday morning. So I expect to see almost nobody to that one because it is Friday morning. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll be there. So thank you very much.
I'm counting on everybody to be up and moving quickly there. Security, there's the optimistic way to look at security and there's the realistic way to look at security. Yeah. And Bob certainly brings a good balance to both of those views that you got to have on security overall. So certainly worthwhile conversations, even though sometimes they can be a little painful and difficult.
They can. Yep.
So let's see here. Marty, you got anything else you want to mention real quick?
Yeah, just a couple real quick. So as others have mentioned, I mentioned at the start, already going through the matrix of the KISTI sessions, and I'm also excited about what our districts are sharing. We have many folks on this call and other district leadership teams and teachers, specifically teachers, and also students who are presenting sessions at the KISTI Spring Conference that I'm super excited about. I already started marking the ones I want to try to hit and learn from as well. I get to spend the rest of today with our students that are here representing our STLP ambassadors, our engineer ambassadors, and so that I'm really wanted. I love this meetup, obviously, but I want to get off and go meet up with students. The final thing I did want to share as well is, we've had this program in place for a couple years now, and we have a reimbursement program for the Kentucky Virtual Library, and we have right now 60 districts who have already paid for this year, but have not. That have not submitted for the reimbursement. So James Allen wanted me to mention, and James is our statewide library media lead, and he wanted me to mention real quick that if you're one of those 60, and if you're not sure, reach out to James, get that reimbursement because that money is sitting there waiting for you to get reimbursed for already paying for your KYVL license and membership. So thanks.
Yeah, absolutely capitalize on that. Don't leave that behind. Thanks, Marty, and yeah, good times getting to hang out with the students there the rest of the day for sure. Chuck, I know you got a thing or two you want to bring up.
Yeah. So have we talked about security at all today? Oh wait, we have, and I've just got to add to it. So I'm going to continue to carry Bob's message forward. Got a couple of small initiatives right now, and obviously, as you guys get to see our monthly EdTech Leaders Agenda from your KETS engineers, please reach out to those folks for any questions you've got. But two really small things, but important things we've got going on that we want to encourage people in, and it's really just to build upon the effort over the last 3 to 4 years around securing identities. Okay, you've heard Bob and I refer to what we did last year with the Security Baseline Project as primarily a behavioral exercise, and that let's teach our end users the things that they need to do to secure their identities, okay, and create some good behaviors, and obviously learning how to implement and use MFA and change your passwords and things like that are all part of it. Well, a second part of that I will also consider behavioral is right now, now that we've learned how to secure our identities, it's a great opportunity to continue the effort to now integrate that identity with Infinite Campus and with Munis. So we've got some initiatives right now that, if you've got questions about, please reach out to your KETS engineers about. Obviously, on Dee Dee's team, Dee Dee and Lisa Keeter have been working really hard along with Infinite Campus, and we've put some things in place to allow you now, and we've paid for it at the state level to integrate your identity with IC. All right, so you've got that single secure identity accessing everything. We just launched something on the Munis side. It's also referred to as the TIDW project, where we can integrate that identity with Munis. And obviously in Phil's shop, okay, Kristen and Kathy are kind of leading that effort. So the behavioral exercise here, to be honest with you, is we want to start pressing upon how important it is at the local level for everybody with their hands in Munis and everybody with their hands in Infinite Campus and our EdTech leaders to all be joined together, okay, to be collaborating, to be communicating. And as we look toward the future of Qs, that's going to be super critical. So make sure, as our EdTech leaders, you're reaching out and you're having conversations with those folks that have administrative access into Infinite Campus as well as Munis from a scheduling perspective, because at the end of the day, really all we want to make sure is as we integrate those identities, we've got MFA enabled so that they are secure. But like I said, Mike, that's just real quick. If they've got any more questions about that, we can absolutely field those through our regional staff. Okay.
Yep. Good deal. So at this point, we'll plan on signing off. We wish you all a good rest of the week. Look forward to seeing everybody at KISTI in a couple of weeks. We will switch over to our closed session that we're going to have to continue discussions around light speed. So districts, you all should be able to stay on and be a part of that as you choose to. Everybody else, good. Again, have a good rest of the day, good week, and look forward to seeing you all over the next couple of weeks. Thanks. See y'all.